guys? You know who it is. Korean Engine MMA right here. A little bit, getting a little late at night here on my Friday night. I mean, over there, we got a little time. For you guys, I'm sure it's barely going to be, Friday morning or something like that. We got time before those fights. Or rather, what is it? Yeah, something like that. I don't even know what the hell ever. But anyway, we got time, all right? Enough. So I'm going to break up the whole card. Kind of make it kind of short and sweet. I'm going to talk about some props. I'm just going to give you my leans here. I think some betting strategy. Let's get into it, man. Hit that like and subscribe button if you have not so already. And remember to drop the comment down below regarding the fights, what you think is going to happen, whether you agree or disagree about my takes on it. But I think I got some good takes. Let's talk about it. First fight on the card, Reed versus Hughes. I mean, look, minus 160 for Reed, plus 135 for Hughes. I mean, I am leaning the favorite Reed here, but I mean, I'm not really jumping for joy to bet this. I have seen some action coming on Reed, and I think people are actually surprisingly going a little heavy in it. I understand maybe being more aggressive and all that. They match up kind of well. But what I would like to talk about is I think that fight goes distance. I mean, we talked about the overs here, and I thought, okay, we always want to find out what the overs are going to be. And this is a fight that kind of jumped up at me. I thought, okay, go over 1.5. Come on, it's going to be a lock. But, I mean, that's not a hot take. I thought maybe over 2.5. And if that's the case, fight goes the distance is like around minus 300 now, I believe. So the implied odds for that are 75, right? So you have to ask yourself, does this matchup go to the judges over 75% of the time? Now, I think that is a accurate line. I mean, look, I understand why they're going to make that line. I mean, you'll see in the records that they have stoppages and everything, but maybe they lose by stoppage. But I think by the way they match up against each other, I think it'll be a back and forth. Not the most. I mean, not a fight you're gonna write to home about. I mean, it's like, oh my god, look at this fight. But I mean, I'm sure. That being said, I'm sure it's got to beat that Carla Esparza versus Rose Diamond's fight. I mean, I'm just gonna keep crapping all over that fight, right? But I mean, that's not saying much. I mean, look. So yeah, I think. I mean, look, I get it. If you're gonna have Reed there in a parlay, I would say, I mean, if you want to take your money line straight up, or if you're in a parlay, maybe just like 2 leg at most. But I'm saying the overs for this. Come on, it's got to hit, man. So let's go on right. We got Hooper versus Kalaris, and I talked about this. And if you look at my Instagram, I've already kind of broken it down a little bit, give my thoughts a little more detailed. But I will basically kind of give the footnotes to that. Hooper versus Kalaris, so we got Hooper plus 155 and as the underdog here, which is kind of interesting to me. Of course, decimal odds. I like using decimal odds, man. That's 2.55. It's just easier to do the math on. Just do quick math because, look, I mean, not everyone's going to be using, playing $100. We're not using $100 units and stuff like that. Come on, you guys. And some aren't worth that. So I think it's just quick math. 0.25 decimal odds is where it's at, man. But implied odds, that means for him it's 39.22. Okay, so that you're thinking, all right, that's kind of looking kind of nice there, right, as a dog. I mean, Kalaris, let's see, he's American odds minus 180, and the decimal odds is going to be 1.55. Implied odds means it's 64.29. Okay. So, decently sized favorite here. Now, what I'd like to say, of course, Cooper versus Kalaris fight will be interesting. I'm very interested in this matchup. Cooper as a dog is tempting, and he's been working with Wonder Boy, so he's got to improve, right? Especially when you consider that he's so young. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think one thing I would like to say is that, and it's been mentioned before, I mean, I think he's one of those guys where he's like so young, he's kind of coming to his own. He's still trying to fit into his body. I mean, look, he's like 6'1" at the weight class, crazy. I mean, obviously, he likes his M&Ms and stuff, and doesn't seem to do too much. I mean, I don't know, but not too much strength training. Hopefully, it'll kind of fill out a little more. I'm really interested in seeing how he's going to look in this weigh-ins. But yeah, it's kind of funny. He's going to have obviously a size advantage, reach advantage. He's going to be the bigger guy in there, which is kind of strange. I mean, he has a big frame for that division being so lean and skinny. But he can be out-muscled, I think. I'm trying to see, though. I mean, I'll talk about that little fight, but I think Kalaris, look, he's like more like a kind of like bantamweight stature, being 5'8", right? Obviously looks very physically imposing, but for his size, obviously, it's a smaller. He's kind of small for the weight class, I believe. I do think Kalaris will be effective as, I put a little note here. I don't think Kalaris will be as effective as Peterson was against Hooper, right? We saw that Peterson versus Hooper fight. That was different. Peter's a completely different animal. He's a vet on there, and he's more physically imposing. It's just, a stronger guy in there, right? He come in and have a lot of pressure, I think. I don't want to use him in math, but I think if Peterson fought Kalaris, I'd be favoring Peterson, to be quite frank. I think it'd be a back and forth, but I don't, at the same time though, I'd like to say, I don't think Hooper will be able to sub Kalaris as easily as he did against Barrett. So I'm not necessarily seeing that as well. You have to look back at those previous fights and see how they played out. But I think Killers beating Luke Sanders by being gritty and showing heart in rounds 2 and 3, that really impressed me. I like that. If you go back and watch that fight, it was a good one, man. You kind of see the heart of it. He kind of losing that first round, obviously, but came back in 2 and 3 to get the win. Also, there's no shame in losing a split decision to Chris Gutierrez like Killers did in his last fight. So, like I said, he's going up against good competition. But to be quite frank with you, it's kind of interesting. I do feel like I almost am kind of liking a sprinkle on the dog here. It just kind of is tough for me to really... at minus 180 for Claris when he is going to be smaller. And, I don't know. I almost feel like Hooper by sub, maybe with a sprinkle, but I'm like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't hit. I'm not sure, though. He's and like I said, Hooper will throw some random stuff in there, some back hits and stuff. And working with Wonderboy, I do think it's going to help him. And he's like I said, he's so young. He's going to be making improvements. I'm just worried about him in these dog fights when he, is kind of more should be on maybe the regional scene at this age, like kind of, building himself up. Like when he went against a vet like Caceres, it's just kind of tough. You're eating some damage. You don't want to see him being damaged like that. I hope he kind of tightens up the footwork, kind of, at least to become a little more defensively sound. And I think Kolaris is kind of a little reckless in there as well. So I think Hooper can, by being wild, can maybe have some, some success in the feed and maybe go for some subs. So yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think Hooper, the money line, the underdog bet here is a little too tempting with the way they match up. So take that with that what you will. If you want to sprinkle by inside the distance, I think that could happen. Going on a banger, man. Martinez versus Morales, right? Look, Martinez minus 240 favorite, plus 200 for Morales. I think. Yeah, I got to go for Martinez as well. Everyone and their brothers betting him, but I got for Martinez in this as well. I think Morales, it's going to be a really good fight, but I think the overs in a way will go well for this. I don't know. I've kind of been wondering, what about 2.5? Would that actually hit? I'm not sure about distance. Really go for it. I think Martinez kind of has it. They're kind of similar thing. I think he's just kind of a little slicker. Just going to be one step ahead of Morales. I think the output's going to be there. The movement. He's going to throw a little more variety in the strikes. Morales going to. I think we're going to see even in the first round, we're going to see a big strike differential. Maybe back and forth. I think they're both tough, and Morales is a tough guy. I don't want to. I know it's tempting to play underdog, but Martinez, I gotta sign with him as well. I wouldn't even mind. I think the overs for this could hit. That'd be a little be a little wary about that though. But I was trying to think about 2.5, but you never know. Finish could happen. I just think it will be a back and forth against two tough guys like this. And I gotta leave with Martinez. Going on, another banger: Morales versus Medic. Here's Medic. It's interesting. Going back and forth with this, a lot of people are kind of going for Morales. It's interesting. Medic will be the bigger guy. I kind of broke this down, actually, and it's kind of tough because when I first saw this matchup, I was getting a little, I was getting a little. Medic kind of jumped out at me. I'm not gonna lie, and I did break this down in my MMA. My Instagram page. I think. As you can see, Omar is the 135 betting favorite, but I feel like this fight should be a little closer. That's the only thing that kind of bothered me. I was like, I've included the odds for each fighter in the next slides on my Instagram if you see them there, but implied odds for Omar are, 60.78. So you have to believe he wins this matchup about 65% of the time, to really be confident, right? And Mensch will be the bigger guy in the cage, but Omar will have the reach. Interesting. Either Medic finishes Omar or Omar wins the decision. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, especially in that first round. Medic's going to be kind of going for the kill. Those are the two most likely outcomes I'm seeing, but they're not locks, really. I could see either going. I could see either of the two predictions happening, really. If you have Omar in a little parlay, a sprinkle on Medic inside the distance could be a good possible hedge, is what I called it, Inside the distance, I'm sorry. Let me, I just want to know your thoughts on that, guys. It's kind of weird because, yeah, like I said, American odds, minus 55, decimal odds of 1.64 for Omar, and that's implied odds, like I said, 60.78. So, and American odds, like I said, already stated, but 130 plus 130 for Medic, and that's 2.3 decimal odds. So that's nice. Implied odds, like I said, 43.48 for Medic. So you have to kind of, you kind of see, Does he win this, at least over 45% of the time? And he could. I mean, like I said, it could go either way. I know Omar is looking good. I think he's been aggressive, good striker. I think a little slicker as far as strikes. I mean, as you're talking about like pure kickboxing, who is as far as their technique is better, I think Omar, but like I said, Medj, big guy in there, explosive. He's young, and hopefully he made improvements. I think he's going to be really good in that first round. So it's tough for me. I understand why a lot of people are going with Omar in this. Like I said, but I you know what, Medj, I'm not saying it's. I mean, like I said, I think that's a play. Maybe if you just want to kind of watch a little popcorn. But I've seen a lot of people going for Morales. Take that with it what you will. Like I said, I could see it. But I'm gonna say, if you do have a Morales in a parlay, I think Menace by finish would be kind of a nice one. Like to just sprinkle on that. Menace inside the distance, maybe Menace KO. Just sprinkle on it. Do it. You can find the math. Just go. Hedge calculator. You just Google it. Or you can just, like I said, sprinkle whatever you're comfortable with. Look at the odds, man. I think that could be a good play. I wouldn't mind a Menace sprinkle on there, even if you're not running best. I mean, if you want to stay with it, you're scared, but it's kind of a weird thing is to say. If you're like really scared, you should just kind of not bet it at all, just popcorn it. But if you want to have a little fun, be a degenerate, I think Medic inside the distance would be a nice little sprinkle. Okay, I'm not saying that's going to hit. Just something nice. Almeida versus Porter. Everyone, their brothers taking Almeida in this as well. Porter, like I said, like people are just hunting for underdogs and stuff. Want to get Porter. I mean, it could be back and forth. I mean, it's tough. Heavyweight fights, man. Underdog and heavyweight is tempting, right? There's two things, man. When you see women's MMA fights who are not known for being, really, really slick with subs or really, having KO power, you want to get the overs are really tempting, right? And when you see heavyweights and you see underdogs in heavyweight, that's also very tempting, right? But like I said, I got to go for Almeida. Well, I would say Almeida inside the distance. I did call that. I actually had in my notes here. I mean, Almeida versus Porter. I think getting Almeida inside the distance was minus 225. I almost feel like I said. I think that's worth maybe a nice little parlay leg. Like I said, 2-leg parlay. I would say a 2-leg parlay here. I think the fight goes the distance for the Reed versus Hughes fight, and then parlayed with Almeida inside the distance. I mean, I think that'd be a nice little parlay there. I mean, I see those both hitting, and I just something I just took in my notes, and I thought, what, this could be nice. I mean, I don't bet the house on it. I'm just saying, bet accordingly. Look at the odds, whatever that gets you. Look at the odds, put it there, and bet accordingly. See the implied odds. Like, is it worth it? Do you think this happens more often than not? Yeah, I think it's good, man. I mean, I'm sorry, but Almeida's got that part. I mean, it's just he's got advantage pretty much. Yeah, he has the overall advantage, man. But Porter, like I said, I mean, he has to find a way of mumbling here late at night. Find a way of surviving and just kind of and make it competitive, But he moves, deceptively fast for a man of his stature, of his build, if you will. But yeah, I got to go for Almeida inside the distance. A nice, even if you want to sprinkle on it. Holm versus Amedovsky. I researched it quite a little bit. I'm not too eager to bet this fight, but everyone in the brothers betting Holmes as well, and he's a minus 200 underdog. Favorite. And he's going to be the bigger guy. Obviously, look at that. I mean, 6'4" versus 5'10", 80-inch reach for Holmes versus 74-inch reach for Amedovsky. But yeah, I mean, it's just more. He has a significant striking advantage as well, and significant strikes line per minute. Holmes has that advantage as well. And the more takedown accuracy, I'm not sure he's going to use grappling really too much. He could. I think he'll mix it in there. Probably be sloppy back and forth. But I'm not too interested in betting it. To be quite frank, I know everyone's taking Holmes, but not. And I am as well. Just I don't know. I don't really see just taking Admitovsky just because he's a dog, and I don't really want to jump at that line with Holmes. Not too crazy about it, but yeah, he is a pick for sure. Anders versus Park is a very interesting one. I was back and forth and I was breaking this down, and Anders, it's kind of it's tough because I almost feel it kind of reminds me in some way of a Morales versus Medic fight in that I think, Anders can be, dangerous in there, right? I mean, he could go out there and starch Park, right? Maybe we could see it, even though Park is very durable and he is, the Iron Turtle for a reason. No, I like he fights. He's smart. He'll include the grappling in there. He'll work it in. but he can get hurt. He can be like he'll kind of grind you out. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the overs went up for this. I mean, it's basically Anders can get him out there in the first round, or Park could win a decision, but we could see even Anders winning a decision. I'm not too crazy high in it in playing this. And it's kind of interesting. Yeah, Park is the minus 210 favorite, while Anders is a plus 175 underdog. And Anders even bet on himself. He said he was going to bet. I mean, telling his family were to bet like $1,000, something like that. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. There's some controversy. I'm sorry, because people are saying, "Oh, can fighters even do that?" First, I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna win, yeah. If you're gonna try to lose, if the bet is that I'm gonna lose, that's just messed up. You're just like to choose not to fight or choose a tap to something bullcrap. That's different. But if you're choosing to win, I mean, I think it's fine. Maybe if you can't place it yourself, you can at least tell people, right? Tell your friends, hey man, bet on me, bet on the house. But that's kind of weird because like only $1,000 said, oh, I'm betting $1,000. I'm gonna spend that money, the winnings on this bar, blah, blah. I'm like, he's plus 180. I'm like, dude, use your purse. Like, what the hell? Like you should be betting more than that. I think 1,000. Like 1,000 is crazy. Like, I mean, obviously, what am I saying? Where the average bettor here is not betting that much. But no, I just kind of it sounds a little. I don't know. It just sounds a little lacking in confidence to me. If I'm to be honest with you, I think you should be betting more than that if you're gonna. I mean, what the hell? I mean, that's like, get your fight modes in there, man. Anyway, but I think it's tough, man, going back and forth between this. I'm not really happy to bet this fight. I know a lot of people are betting Park, the money coming out. I get it, he's durable and he could just get a decision, but I wouldn't even just be surprised if it's like a split decision or something, man. I'm just gonna be a funky fight, but I'm just gonna popcorn it, man. But yeah, I think, like I said, if you want to sprinkle Anders inside distance by KO or something, I mean, I don't hate it. That's more like a degenerate kind of little, thing, something for fun, but just a sprinkle, man. But Park by decision, at the same time, Park by decision could be really good for that too. I think that's a play as well. Vieira versus Richie. I don't know. I just want to move on with that fight, man. You shouldn't be too crazy confident in that one. I mean, Vieira versus Richie. I mean, it's honestly Vieira with her pain tattoo right there, and Richie, really cool girls, just gonna throw down. I think it's gonna be more of a fun women's MMA fight. I think I got Richie is a minus 130 fight. I'm sorry, favorite, and Vieira is a plus 110. I think the overs for this could hit too, but I mean, maybe we could see. Who knows? Maybe we could get a finish in here. Subs could happen, right? But I'm going with Richie as well. I feel like, I know everyone, that's not a really hot take, but I mean, that's at that minus 130 line. I don't think that's bad at all, really. I think that's kind of. It's kind of, I mean, because Vienna's like, like I said, plus 110, and so decimal odds 2.1, right? So her implied odds are 47.62, right? So kind of even, right? Richie, American odds minus 130, as I said, and so that her decimal odds are 1.76. Do the math there, whatever you bet on there, bet $10, that's okay. You get $17, back. But anyway, if you were to bet like a little bit like that, right? Nothing wrong with that. Implied odds 56.52, as I said. For her, so I mean, I think that's kind of fair. I mean, it's a close fight, but yeah, I could see Richie. I think that's kind of nicely, yeah, that's just nicely. The odds are not bad. I feel like, yeah, Richie does get this done. I wouldn't even be surprised. I think the 1.5 over 1.5 got a hit for this, right? Unless someone gets a sub, but I mean, I think these both. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just Vienna, is dangerous. Even when she's getting us on her back, she'll like land some elbows. She'll keep fighting. She's gritty. But I do feel like Richie probably will have an advantage. I think, and yeah, I mean, she's a favorite for a reason, I do believe. And, Richie, that judo, you'll see it in her past fights. Like, she'll use that judo flip, a little baby shark, do it. But I mean, Vienna has that Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I'm not quite sure I don't know. I'm not quite sure she'll be able to really sub her. I mean, look, Richie losing to Miano Ferrer, my girl Vieira, man, I'm high on her. I've been high on her for a while, and yeah, she's legit, really legit. So there's no shame in that. I mean, she's beat Oliveira by United decision, lost to Vieira before that, got TKO'd in the round 2. But before that, Ormsby got the TKO with her in the second round. Submission, got his arm bar against Grimes, right, the first round. That's what's kind of the only thing that makes me nervous. Like, I think, but with Vienna's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, I think both these girls, I mean, maybe they cancel each other out with their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think we could see some kind of sloppy, kind of wild striking. Richie probably scoring the takedowns with her judo, and Vienna trying to land something from the bottom. But I feel like maybe Richie's just going to be more effective. I mean, probably outlanding. I'm not saying it's going to be really high level striking but everything, but I'm just saying with the ground pound and everything. I think Richie gets this. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a decision, to be honest with you. Njokueni versus Todorovic. I like Todorovic, but you know what? Nah, man. I mean, minus 260 for Njokueni. I get it, man. Maybe Todorovic will be smart. Kind of, he's a little wild in there. Defense always kind of lacking, and he can get chinned, he'll throw out some, interesting kicks and stuff. He's really gritty. And he'll probably mix in some takedowns as well. But Njokueni, I mean, you're playing with fire there. I mean, who knows? I mean, Njokueni, I think, could get him out there early, to be quite frank with you. I wouldn't. The Njokueni inside distance or by KO, TKO, I think it's a good play to sprinkle on. Todorovic, who knows? Maybe he just he mixes things in. Maybe he's really gritty. When he gets rocked, he kind of clinches up. Maybe starts, he's like landing some kicks and stuff, trying to stay in the fight. And maybe, who knows? Who even knows? Maybe the grappling is mixed in there and he get like a split decision or some shit, right? But I think I got to go with Njokueni in this one, man. Njokueni. I'm mispronouncing his name. Njokueni. I mean, I think that's the play. He's the minus 260 favorite for a reason. I get it. He's going to be a big guy, more reach. Just I don't know, man. More accurate strikes. I mean, like I said, Todorovic has, look at that, a significant strikes line per minute. He's actually, he has the edge there, though, for 5.80 versus 3.91 for Njokueni. Todorovic, I think, like I said, he's very open to getting, his defense always lacking. Hands are down often. I don't like the way he fights like that. I tried to lose a lot of head movement, try to get out of the way, but yeah, I just feel like Njokueni, he's going to be landing the more impactful strikes and either get him out there or definitely he's going to win it for sure. So that's how I feel. I gotta go with that. And, another interesting matchup, man. I mean, another banger, Ponzinibbio. God, it's late and I hate doing these names. Actually, it's so funny. I'm more used to Japanese names than these. But Ponzinibbio, yeah, my friend Ponzi over here, man. Good fighter versus Pereira. And Pereira's been making a lot of improvements though. You see him wild, you want to fade him. He's not doing those dances and gassing him out so much. I mean, he's able to kind of at least manage his tank a little more. He's making improvements, He does struggle with pressure fire, so you think, oh man, Ponzi's got to be stylistically. Ponzi had the edge, but I think he's gonna be the older guy. He's gotten in wars and he's eating damage. I mean, when you look at that fight against Baiza, he got chinned as well, but he made it back, and I feel like he got that decision is nice. Win for him. Losing Jill, to Neil, I think is by split decision is no shame in that really. Being Zhenglang, I mean, look at that. Being Magni, these are good wins, but there's kind of space in between. He's got a lot of layoff there, But I just feel like Father Time, I feel like Pereira is kind of going up. He's kind of making improvements, kind of going. They're in very different stages in their careers. Obviously, if you look at, the age, that just tells you, right? But I do have to side with Pereira in this, to be quite frank with you. I mean, he's my 135 favorite. It's playable, I think. I'm not really too crazy about betting it, but I wouldn't even be surprised if this kind of keeps going. Goes over the 1.5 for sure for this. I mean, not for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. Pereira, very dangerous thing. We all know how he fights. He's in there like a freaking video game character when you're just trying to learn the combos and just getting in there doing crazy shit. But Ponzi, like I said, pressure could come forward. I think it'd be bad, but Pereira's shown, like I said, he's getting improvements. I think he'll land impactfully, and I think it's gonna be kind of interesting though to me. I wouldn't even be surprised if Pereira makes in some takedowns there, gets some wild and get some trips or something. But I gotta go with Pereira in this. Actually, I gotta go with the favorite here. I'm not saying to bet. I'm not even too confident. I think it'll be back and forth. It's gonna be a good fight. But I gotta go lean Pereira. Okay. Holm versus Vieira, man. Oh man, Vieira. You think as an underdog, she's younger. You think okay, Holm at 40, not feeling too happy, but. I think everyone is. She's like minus 260, dude. That's the crazy line. I think if you're gonna play her, I wouldn't be mad at the home home by decision. I think the over's got to hit for this, right? Come on, over 1.5, over 2.5. Home by decision, I think is a nice sprinkle. Vieira, I don't know. I wanted to go for her, but I just feel like You know, she got that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I mean, is it going to be effective? Is she going to be able to sub Holm? I don't know. Holmes has mixed in some takedowns in her game, and she's got the nice kicks. You know, I think she's just going to, be just better on the feet, obviously. More polished. You know, I just... It's not a good look, though. Losing to Kunitskaya. Man. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good, man. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, Holm. Losing to Kunitskaya by unanimous decision is just not a good look. So you think, okay, it's good. I mean, in women's MMA as well. I'm sorry. For Vieira, just if you're losing to Kunitskaya, I just think, oh man, Holm's gotta, just gotta do better, and get you that and beat you by decision also. So I think that's a play, Holm by decision. I think the overs for this also are good. I mean, Vieira, I don't know. I don't know, I didn't really feel comfortable hedging. I mean, it's women's MMA, so anything could happen. You think, oh, plus 210, she's a dog. But I mean, man, I don't know. I think the overs for this might play. But anyway, that's, guys. I don't want to go too long-winded. Like and subscribe. Sorry, it was long-winded, but I broke down the whole card for you guys. You still got time to check it out. Let me know. Like and subscribe, like I said. Let me know what you think about these matchups. I mean, I think I've gotten some good little reads on here. Some things you can do. Some parlays. I suggest 2-leg parlays. Sprinkle a little bit on the props I said. And let's just, good luck to your bets. Get some cash. And enjoy the fights, man. Peace out. That's all.